Disclaimer, I'm gonna be combing my hair, and you're welcome to talk to me in the comments, but it's not like I'm always gonna just do certain poses or certain things. I want to kind of clear that up, okay? Because, yeah, just, I don't want to. Like, maybe sometimes I want to, but I don't know. If I'm doing a thing or I'm just combing my hair, it's just like a chat, okay? Like to share my thoughts about something. It's not like, oh my gosh, like I went to posy like in certain positions, like with my glasses on and off and sideways, you know? Anyhow, so this is my whole thought. I'm gonna share some of my thoughts about hair care and skin care. And I know it's like really big in the world of long hair. It's usually okay, a lot of women have really, really beautiful hair. Maybe their complicated hair regime really works for them. But for me, my belief is, and it's been like this forever, is that less is more. Like, I want to do less products. Like, for instance, I did henna last Monday, but that was the last time I fully washed my hair. But in the shower right now, I let the water hit my roots, okay? So I did kind of what you call a root rinse a bit, but I didn't want I'm prolonging washing my hair fully again. I'm gonna see because I did a conditioner. Like I just rinsed out the henna with conditioner. So not only was there coconut milk and a tiny bit of oil in with the henna, but when I did my co-wash, like sometimes I found like I will occasionally like I was just co-washing with just conditioner for several months on end, but then I would do shampoo like maybe every other wash or something, but then I would still use like a bucket load of conditioner to like the amount like the ratio of shampoo to conditioner is so different. Like a bottle of shampoo can last me forever, but a bottle of conditioner doesn't last that long. And I don't even wash my hair that much. So yeah, I use a lot of that product, but when it comes to like hair mask, like I don't do them, okay? Like I put coconut oil in my hair and I put a little bit in yesterday, but I've been not needing as much oil because I have like my natural oils going on and I'm not washing my hair all the time. And I know like in the world of long hair, it's like lately I'm seeing all these masks, like they keep saying do this mask and that mask. And I don't know. I kind of think less is more like with your skin too, because everybody's like skincare routine. My skincare routine, and I have nice skin, is I have very pretty skin. This is my skincare routine. I don't wash my face like other people. Like I'll let it get wet, but I don't scrub on my face. Like to me, that's just like counterintuitive. And actually, the thing that actually helped me, if you go on YouTube, you'll actually see this where people talk about how they cleared up their acne when they stopped washing their face. It sounds counterintuitive, right? Like, how can not washing your face? Because think about it. You're washing your face like with these really harsh cleaners, and it's depleting your face of oils, and then it's going into overproduction. Same with like with your scalp. I mean, the more you wash your face, and the more you wash your hair, like you're just causing an imbalance in the skin. And I might not be a hair, scalp, or skin doctor, but I can just tell you that overwashing is not doing us any benefit. But there's always going to be a product. And does anybody ever think, this is just my thought process about this all. Do you ever think maybe they encourage people to use this product so you'll have to use that product and then you create this vicious cycle, whereas you could just wash your face less? Like, look, I get it. Most people don't want to just like splash their face with water and put lotion on it like I do, but I'm going to tell you, that's my grape jelly jam. I don't do what other women do. So, and I found out that actually my favorite BB cream is cruelty free now. It doesn't say it on here, but on the outside package it did. And this is like my favorite BB cream. I just like to put this on my face, and I don't use anything else. Like I just use my favorite BB cream. Hi. Hola, ¿cómo está? yo hablo un pequeño español. I only speak a little bit of Spanish, but like, yeah, I'm just like, I don't understand like the over obsession with like, oh my gosh, you need this mask, not mask. Look, I'm not saying hair masks aren't good, and I kind of get what the whole idea behind it. But if you talk to people like with really super long hair, part of it's genetics and part of it's just how you treat your hair. And I just personally think like the only mask I want to do is maybe every few months henna. And that's it. Like I don't want to do like look, I've tried different masks, and I'm not saying I'll never try the aloe vera mask, but when I tried that, it made my hair shiny, but I don't know. It also made my hair tingly. So I wasn't a fan. Like I'd rather just put some coconut oil in my hair and call it a day. Like that's kind of my MO in the whole hair realm, so to speak.
Jumping off a plane right now? No.
Why is that talking in the background? Hold on, sorry. Anyway, hi, how you doing? From Algeria. I like it. I'm like I have to say, as people from I'm part Syrian, so I love to hear about people from like Middle Eastern or Arab speaking cultures. I don't speak Arabic though, but that's great, Jelly Jam. Cool. Like I'm just saying. Thanks for sharing. I love just just seeing the culture of like North Africa though. Very beautiful. I was reading a book. Was just talking about different Berber cultures in North Africa. It's very, very interesting. So yeah, I'm American when people ask, but basically my ethnicity is what you call Syrian, Lebanese, and English. That's primarily what I am. Like, if Syria and England had a child, that would be me. Yeah, that would be me. Like, that's kind of how I think about myself. All right. If Lebanon and England had a child, that would be me. With a little bit of German too, but because people are so defined by this modern geography thing. Like, they're like, yeah, this is what defines me because that's the modern border. But if you look at history, it's much more complicated than that. Like groups of people were not contained in like this one like modern border. So sometimes like with German speaking people, Germanic people, they were spread throughout Europe. And they weren't just all in like Austria or modern Germany. Like they were spread through like Alsace-Lorraine. Like there's parts of France where you have German speaking communities still. I'm just saying, like anywhere you go, like people were more fluid and they also intermarried and mixed. And this whole idea, like, of people who think, oh, somebody's so pure and there's just like this one thing. I'm like, yeah, you're ignorant because nobody's just one thing. People, like, you go back to hate that sort of thing, like, because it's not true. And you just seem ignorant of history when you try to make it seem like people are not mixed. Like anybody who claims to be just one thing, they haven't taken a DNA test and they haven't researched their family tree because there's very few people that are just one thing unless you are living in an isolated tribal region and your people haven't had contact with the rest of the world for like, I don't know, hundreds of years. And that's becoming more and more rare. Most people are mixed with one thing or the other. Humans are mixed. We're not defined. Like, it's interesting to know about your family tree and your ethnicity and culture. But another thing, too, that I feel like that's getting weird is that people are becoming so defined by that identity. Like, it's interesting to know about these things, but like when people start using that as a reason to create friction, or they don't question like certain frictions that are being promoted, like they just say, well, that's the way it should be. But there's actually people that don't agree with them. Like there are people everywhere that don't agree with the people who want to cause the friction on either side of the equation. And any friction causer, I'm like, I don't like the friction. Like if one group is causing friction with the other group, maybe both sides are wrong. You know? It's like people don't like saying that, but I think a lot of the conflicts that you see that are promoted these days, like there really isn't anybody that's looking super good and squeaky clean in it. Anybody really, because it's like, and it's so much arrogance and so much identity that's just not like if you went back to the ancient past, like all Middle Eastern people, like Levantine people, okay, they're all like Palestinian and Israeli people. You guys are the same people, okay? I'm sorry. I'm so sick of this like garbagey, like you guys want to fight with each other all day. I'm over it. I'm so over it. Figure it out. Like stop each side. I'm just like, no, nobody's right in that one. I'm just like, I'm not going to take a side on that because I'm just like, no, there's just so much wrong in the whole thing. And even in the US too, like when I look at how we're so defined by their um their political party or anything. I'm like, stop being so defined by that one thing. Like all that friction is just wasted human life in my view. It's a really sad thing in my view. Like people that don't promote, like I'm not saying there's always going to be peace, but there could be a lot more peace in the world if people would just stop promoting so much. And I think real peace would start with like if we just minded our own business more and if we found ways to all get along more. I don't know. But my way of thinking is not the popular viewpoint. So I kind of just stay out of all that. And I'm just like anytime that I see something being promoted, I just think about what my grandpa felt about it all. And he was Syrian and he felt like there was an answer that was based on peace for everyone, okay? That was his view, and he studied history, and I kind of agree with him on that. So I know a lot of people don't want to get along and agree, blah, 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 but I'm just like, whoa. So yeah, it's just a rehash of different things, but now it's like there's a lot of people jumping on each side of the bandwagon, and I'm like, I don't know. That's one thing I just like any of these conflicts. Even when it came to our own country, like the last election, like I just felt like it was so overblown. Like there are still people that are complaining about that last election. I'm sorry, but both candidates were not checking my boxes. So I really no, I don't have like I don't think this is the golden age with Biden, and I didn't think it was the dark ages with Trump. I just like I don't know. Maybe it's just there's a lot of things in modern times that are good and bad. And not everything's bad either. Like sometimes conservatives, like I've said before, like they can wax like ridiculous too. Because I was reading this one blog where these people said that they were afraid to go outside in California. I'm like, okay, you little scaredy cats. Like I walk all the time as a woman, and like you're saying you can't walk on the beach because there's some homeless people there. And usually the homeless people keep to themselves. They really do. A lot of them are actually respectful. Like a lot of people don't like poverty. Okay. A lot of people don't want to see poor people. This is true. And like, let's be honest, there's liberal people that fall into that camp. There's both conservative and liberal people. They don't want to see a homeless person. Like, there's something about a homeless person sitting there just, okay, they're minding their own business, but they don't want them there because there are people that will literally say that ruins my day to see a homeless person. I mean, do you know how cruel that is? Just like, oh, a homeless person, like they're really hurting you. You're not, and if it's public land, like, I don't know, figure out a way, like, why can't the homeless people camp somewhere on public land? Like, I personally just don't understand the problem with that. Maybe, like, yeah, sometimes they take over some parks, but I don't know. Just find a way to make it work because it's not like like it's not like people that's not private property. So all these people that are really upset and triggered, both conservative and liberals, about seeing homeless people, and just like really, it bothers you that much that you see some people camping outside. Okay, if they're being disgusting and not going to the bathroom in the right place, yeah, that's a problem. Okay. But it's funny that a lot of the social do-gooders don't really want a solution either. So I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, it's interesting, like all this stuff. So I just try not to take sides in any of these conflicts or I mean, I have opinions, but I think just in general lately, I'm kind of like, I see a lot of fallacy. Like anytime you see two sides where they're getting so invested on each side and they're going at it and they're like, I'm right. No, you're right. Like a lot of times I'm like, well, maybe there's and not even in a Bill Clinton kind of way where he would say there's a third way. That was disingenuous. There was never a third way with Bill Clinton. He was just playing into that divide and conquer. Like he was a primo politician. But he would say things in the State of the Unions that woke people would freak out. Like he called undocumented workers illegal aliens in early 1990s, like 93 State of the Union addresses. I mean, there were things he said that nowadays people would freak if somebody uttered those things. Same with Joe Biden. Like he talked about unwed mothers, and like somehow equated unwed mothers to like rise in crime and really, I don't know. It's a lot of problematic language that people nowadays wouldn't like, that some of their most exalted politicians, things that they said, right? So maybe people just need to realize, yes, we evolve as a society, and I don't like bigoted behavior on any side of the paradigm, but I also don't like it when people get too virtuous about how their side is right and your side is wrong, and then they're fighting at it and they're just going at it. And I'm like, what if I just don't agree with either of you? And I think a lot of it's based on modern colonialism. Like there's a lot of different, like there's, I'm not even going to go into it, but maybe if you're just more of an independent libertarian type, liberty based thinking person, you're not going to fall into those mental traps. And I'm not even saying that's the answer either. I think maybe sometimes abstaining more politically from all of it is the answer. If you really want to know my opinion, my view on it, I'm not saying don't be apathetic. I'm just saying I don't think being too invested in any one cause group is worth your grape chili jam time. That's just my view. I'm gonna go get some coffee. Like, don't throw your life away over a political movement. Like, don't do it. Like, why? Because I feel like, I don't know. I love to study history, but I'm not big on being involved or invested in one group of people. Because it's a group dynamic thing. That's another thing too. I'm more of like an individual. I don't really like defining myself by a certain group, no matter what it may be. So yeah. There's just so many things. Like I do not want to be defined. Just like, okay, with every kind of group, right? There's many different kinds of groups out there, like types of groups. Like, I don't know. Shoot, I'm spilling coffee. I'm not a very good waitress today. For myself. So I always have my handy dandy washcloths on hand to wipe up any spills. And I just am loving this comb. Oh, I got a little bit of coffee on the comb, but I'll just get a bit of coffee in my hair. I'm just like, it's not horrible. Smells nice. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So anyhow, hello, everybody that's watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, wherever you may be. If you want to put in the comments, tell me like where you're at. Like I want to see. Tell me. I love it when people tell me, like, you can tell me if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But you could say what city and country you're in. We're gonna play this game, like geography game. Like, let's see. Anybody want to tell me? If anybody wanted to, they could. I'm just always curious about that kind of thing. Like, I know though, when I look at the algorithm, like, it used to be last year before the pandemic. Most of my views came from India and Indonesia, but it seems like it's kind of shifting to where I'm getting more search engine traffic from Mexico and the United States, and then India and Indonesia are like third and fourth. Like it's kind of shifting a bit, I've been noticing since the pandemic. Like I don't know, my search engine kind of took a hit like after when the pandemic started last year. I think a lot of people noticed that. Well, other people, I guess, like maybe their search engine picked up during the pandemic. I don't know. I guess everybody has a different experience. Like I just noticed that it's kind of picked up again, but it was really like taking off at that time, and then the pandemic came. It's just like, ugh. So, but I want to keep sharing. Like I have so many different ideas and so many fun things to share with you. Just new ideas, you know. Oh, Desert of California. Yes, I'm in California too. Awesome. Like Inland Empire though, not the desert. Um, so what else? What else? What else? There's lots of stuff. Trying to think. All right. So what else? Yeah, I was trying updos last week and I was thinking about doing it today, but I need a lot of time to feel like I have my hair combed. Like it's funny, I have like I could just put my hair up. Like some people do that, but I really hate the messy bun. I hate it. Like I don't know what it is. A lot of people love really messy updos and they kind of just annoy me. Like if I wash my hair and I didn't completely detangle it, I'll put it up. But I don't want it to look messy. Like I just don't like those styles. Like, okay, where somebody they took the time to do their hair, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go back and make it more messy, like so it looks more purposely undone." And I'm thinking, doesn't the hairstyle? Oh yeah, I love Coachella. Coachella is awesome. Um, we used to drive through there on the way to, when I lived out in Blythe, so it'd kind of be, you can drive that way going out to Joshua Tree, but I'm more familiar with the old Woman Springs Roadway down through Big Bear into Lucerne Valley. So I'm more familiar with that way. But on my other channel, I did some cool videos where I showed the drive on Old Woman Springs Road. It's interesting though, because actually George Washington's nephew, he was part of the geological survey that came out and kind of like he's the one that actually measured the baseline road that went from like San Bernardino to the ocean, and he helped like plot the whole like road idea for Old Woman Springs Road, and he came up with the idea because he saw Native American women washing like laundry near the river, like because there was a river that flowed near that road. Like California was actually, even though it's a desert, there are water rich areas flowing out of the mountains. So, and even today, like there's still water under the San Bernardino Mountains. Like water rights are actually in my area, like San Bernardino Valley, it's contested. Like this is a big thing. Like Redlands and Big Bear fight over who owns the water rights. It's so interesting. Like, okay, so Redland says that they own the water, but Big Bear claims that they own the water. But technically, I guess legally, because I always thought this was so interesting. Like, I always read growing up in the mountains that the mountain communities technically own the water, but that's not even legally true because I guess there's this corporation that was founded like in the 1890s in Redlands that actually owns the water. And I'm like, water rights are a big thing. Like if you look into Lake Arrowhead versus Hesperia, like they have a big like little squabble going on between the spillway. It's so interesting because you have like this little town of Lake Arrowhead and a little town of Hesperia, and then like I don't know what 14 miles of like mountains going into mountainous desert. But they like the Lake Arrowhead technically controls one part. Hesperia, like this is just the weird thing about unincorporated, incorporated, how California works. Like it's so interesting, but water rights are a big contested thing in California. Water, like everybody keeps saying, oh, there's a drought and there's no water in California, but it depends on what part of California you're in. And even during the drought, the mountain regions have a lot of water. They just don't like, okay, Arrowhead Mountain Springs water. my favorite sparkly water. Some people really hate it, okay, because they say like the U.S. Forest Service comes up there and they like pipe it out. But there's other water companies that do the same thing. Okay, I know like a lot of people, but it's funny because people that used to drink it now they're like, oh my gosh, you can't drink that water. But it's just an example, like that water. This is big on the U.S. market. I don't know, maybe more in the Coast area. Like it comes from little underground water springs in the San Bernardino Mountains and the base of the mountains. So California is more water rich than they tell you. It depends on the parts of California that you're talking about, though. Now, LA, no, they import all their water, but our area, we have water. So yeah, it's very complicated. The desert, they do have to pipe the water in. So it depends on what part of California you're talking about, you see. Things are more nuanced than people realize. I'm just saying. So yeah, look up California water disputes and water rights. It's so interesting. I'm like, people fight over water, and this is locally. People fight over everything. I'm like, there's a natural resource, and it will always be contested. Or, yeah. Anyhow, that's like not about hair, is it? So what else? What else? What else? Yeah, I'm just like enjoying doing my hair. I'm having fun with it. And I'm trying to be more like I said, I got those jumbo U pins and I was thinking about using them, but I'm kind of like wanting to comb out my hair like thoroughly to do an updo the way I really, really want to do it if I do that, you know? Plus, I did so many updos for a few weeks, I kind of needed a break. I might be. I'm not sure yet. Like, I think that's where I'm going with my hair. Like, it feels like it. I just haven't spent the time combing it out the way I would want if I was gonna. Now, that's another thing I was gonna say though. Once you get into like, some people probably think it's so gross, but like, it's not gross because I still get my hair wet in the roots in the shower. But like, you get into week 3, 4 hair, like it's so much easier. Like the time that I was spending combing my hair was so significantly less. Like I didn't really have to do much detangling. Well, because I leave my hair in a braid anyway, but it was like so much easier. And I'm like, that's another thing too. Like when you wash your hair all the time, like I just found I was combing my hair more often and it never really caught up with itself. Like it always felt like I had to add more oil to it. And that time, like that was the first time I had gone up to 3 weeks without washing my hair before. But this last time, like I had done scalp rinses, but I went a whole month. And this time when I did henna, there was coconut milk and oil in the henna, and I did a conditioner rinse, but I didn't wash my hair with shampoo. So what is that telling me? You don't really need shampoo to cleanse your hair. Well, just like you don't need soap to cleanse your face. Like, okay, when I do like wash up in the shower, I will put like a hydrating. I guess I have weird ideas. Like I have a lot of shampoo, so I use a hydrating shampoo as a body wash lately because I actually find like it's less drying because I do wash my body with the body wash. Like personally, I feel like that just is better for me. But like when it comes to my skin, on my face and my scalp, I just feel like that's super sensitive and I don't want to over dry those areas, you know? That's just my whole take on skincare. So for me, it's definitely less is more. Like a lot of people like more and more, and they like to do more mask, and I'm always seeing like more mask recommendations. And look, I guess that works for people because yeah, a lot of people have really beautiful hair, but I just want to say it goes back to genetics then, okay? Because a lot of the women with really beautiful hair, like they're taking good care of it. They're being delicate with their hair, but they also have the genetics where maybe doing all those masks would be forgiving to their hair. Now, if you had really fine hair and you're doing like really heavy duty masks, like an aloe vera mask or a flax seeds mask, I don't know. Is that good? It might not be because that might be just too much for your hair. Like, I don't know. My mom, she has very fine hair, but lots of it. She doesn't do hair mask, okay? I don't even think she puts oil in her hair. Like, she occasionally does, but not really. because she says that weighs down her hair. Whereas I have like thicker, wavier, coarser hair. So yeah, I feel like oils work really well with my hair. But like I've said too, I haven't had to add as many oils since like when you're doing more of a co-wash and you're not washing your hair with shampoo, you're just not stripping your scalp. I guess that was another thing too, like about the having to wash your hands so much in the last year. I hate having to wash my hand. Like I always wash my hands, don't get me wrong. I do believe not all the way. I don't wear my hair loose because like that is not I don't know if anybody goes to Instagram, but my hair is calf length now. My hair is not suitable to that. Even when my hair was like tailbone length, I think I wore my hair down once last year, one time, and then one time in 2019. And before that, I only wore my hair down once, like one time in 2017. And I never was like a loose hair in public kind of gal. Like I always was for the braid. Like even when my hair was like shorter, like here, like just a little bit below the shoulders, I was realizing, braids are really good for like keeping your hair like manageable and like preventing tangles underneath your hair. So yeah, I don't like to wear my hair loose because when you start moving around, like it's just like I don't know. I guess there's some people their hair just isn't prone to tangling or they don't mind like detangling their hair. Like to me though, like I like to do one style for the day and be done with it. But guess what? Okay, here's another thing. I hadn't combed my hair thoroughly in a couple days. Like I've been leaving in braids and like it's staying pretty tangle free. So I love the braid to just keep my hair in that nice tangle free zone because you're getting less mechanical damage. I'm just like, yeah, and I'm over the brush. I don't think I want to brush my hair anymore. Like I heard a lot of women say that as their hair got longer that a comb just works better, but I'm like, yeah, the longer my hair gets, a comb just works better. And even when my hair was shorter, I always felt like a brush was kind of harsh on it. Whereas I feel like with a comb it just kind of glides through your hair and you're not pulling as much. Now, a lot of people tell me though they don't like combing their hair because it takes longer. No, it's not that. It's the tingling. Like, I don't know. Like, people are still going to touch your hair if they want to. People don't touch, like, I know people still wonder about that. Like, do people touch my hair in non COVID times? But I'm going to tell you, COVID kind of put the kibosh on that sort of behavior. And I find, like, just in my like I don't know, most people don't want you to touch them, so they're definitely not going to touch you. So I don't know. I don't think people really touch each other anymore. I saw some people give each other a hug the other day. It was kind of cringy though because I'm just like, I could get it if you were out with your friends or something, but I'm just like, I don't know. We're supposed to be all social distancing, so even if you've had the vaccine, I don't know. I just didn't. It just felt weird because they keep telling us that we should not be close to each other, and just to see people like in a public place where they're like I don't know. I'm not I'm not saying I never hug like I don't know. Have I hugged people recently? Yes, I've hugged somebody recently. They I'm not gonna say. But um yeah, it's not like I'm like a public thing where I'm doing it in a public space, like and I'm selective and careful about that. But just the whole hugging everybody thing, like somebody had made a comment like maybe that was over too much anyway, too excessive. Like I know a lot of people love that huggy, touchy feely, but like a lot of people say, oh, Australians and Americans like hug each other a lot, but they don't in other countries. But to be honest, I was never like the kind of American that just hugged like random people that I just like acquaintances. It felt weird. Like when I would see people and they hadn't seen each other for a long time and they'd be embracing and they'd be like, oh my God, I haven't seen you forever. Like the only thing that kind of struck into my mind is like, if you really like them, why haven't you been talking to them? Like that's what I would think because I don't like I'm cordial and polite to people, but if I want to talk to someone, I'm not going to let years go by and just act like I'm so excited to see them one day. It's just kind of strange. I'm not like that. I'm not like that. And a lot of Americans are like that. Like that's a whole American thing. Like you can grow up in this country and not feel like you're part of the mainstream culture because you're not more of a social butterfly, I guess. So when COVID happened, I heard some people said, like, don't you think it's better that people aren't doing that? But I kind of think people want to start doing that again because of the vaccine. But I don't know. That was never my thing. It's not like I was afraid I was going to get COVID. It just feels overly familiar. And I'm not saying don't ever hug anybody. I'm just like, why do people have to hug so many people? Like, why do you need to hug so many of your acquaintances? And a lot of what people consider like friends are more like acquaintance level to me. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's interesting, you know? But everybody has different definitions, I guess, like, or thoughts on this, or just different levels of comfort. It's just not my thing, personally. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. So people don't touch my hair anymore. I used to have people touch my braid, or sometimes if I occasionally wore my hair loose, but I haven't had anybody come up and touch me since COVID started. They just don't do that anymore. Um, Sometimes people would touch my braid. Like I had people one time when I did wear my hair loose, I did have, but it wasn't men, it was women. Like people are always like, do men like touch your hair? And it would never be a man. It would always be a woman that would come and touch my hair, not a man. Because I think men, just in the environment we live in, I don't think, I know some guys like that might like hair might think, oh, a man might touch your hair. But I think men are kind of careful. They're not going to just go up and touch a woman's hair. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. It's always going to be another woman. Like, other women aren't going to feel as inhibited, although I kind of have a problem with that too. I don't think you should make an assumption that just because you're the same gender as that person, that it's okay to touch them. Because I'm not, it's not like I'm anti people touching me. It's just okay. A lot of people don't want to be touched, and because our culture is so touchy feely, people hugging each other, I would know people like they wouldn't want people to hug them or to touch their hand. And some people like would touch my hand, and I don't care. Like that doesn't bother me. Like I just think that's kind of cute and sweet. Like if an older person kind of touches my hand, that's happened a little bit more lately. Like that, I don't really care about. But there's some people they get really mad if you touch their hand. So like no, I didn't really have. I've never had a man just reach out that I didn't know reach out and just touch my hair in passing. I don't think most men would do that. And I always caution you guys, like, don't do that, okay? Like, okay, because I don't think you want to put yourself, like, even if you're just thinking, oh, like a woman has really pretty hair, if you didn't ask permission, like, it's a no no. Okay, I'm just telling you, like you might not think it's a no no, but yeah, don't like touch somebody's hair, like unless like if you ask them if you can touch their hair and they're okay with you touching their hair, then that's another thing. But just like, I don't know. I think also too, like I'm nice, but people can tell like I don't just want people like touching me. Like I don't give off that vibe, like come touch me. So I think people can kind of read my body language. I think that's another thing too. Like if you're one of those people that kind of has that like open body language where you're like, oh, I'm okay with you touching me, then somebody like that would probably be more open to have somebody touch their hair. But I had people touch my hair and it was women and not men. So I don't know if that answers your question. But yeah, just be really careful there, guys. Oh yeah, if you ask, no problem. Like I've had people ask if they could touch my hair that I knew, and I was like, that's fine. Like there have been a few guys that wanted to touch my hair, but to be honest with you, I haven't met as many guys that seem as interested in hair. Like, well, maybe they're just not saying so. Like, I've had people tell me, like, well, one guy, I thought it was kind of cool. He said, oh, wow, you have long hair. And he was telling me how his niece had long hair and it seemed more acceptable, like in Germany, because he said something about how she had an internship in Germany than like in the US. And he thought it was really cool I had long hair. And that was one of the days I had my hair loose, like wearing it loose, not in a braid. But that was years ago, like 4 years ago. My hair is a lot longer now. So, it's interesting though. On the days I wore my hair loose, all of a sudden people would notice that it was long. And even if I wear my hair in a braid, some people don't really notice, I guess. I don't know, because there's something about it being loose, I guess, where it's just like flowing more that people see it. But when I used to wear my hair up in a crown braid, actually, a lot of people didn't even know I had long hair. Well, like people that would pay attention, yes, they would know. But some people said that they were surprised I had long hair. They didn't think I did. And I was like, really? But my hair is long. Like, I thought you could tell. Like, the people that would pay attention, they'd be like, oh, yeah, your braid wraps all the way around your head. Like, they could tell, but, like, there was this one woman, like, I took out my hair one day and I rebraided it, and she's like, oh my God, why do you wear your hair up? It's so pretty. She's like, I love long hair. And she was just like, I would never wear my hair up if it was long. And, like, I don't know, sometimes I have tried to do things because I do think they're pretty and all, but they put a lot of strain on your scalp. But then on the same token, if you're gonna have really long hair, wearing your hair in a braid can be a struggle too. So it's like it's a give and take, I suppose. But if you don't have to move around or do anything, I think your hair in a braid is fine. Like, but a bun, like, I don't know. I still am not exactly like I will wear my hair up because it does look pretty, but I still am never 100% team bun just because, yeah, headaches. Like, but a lot of women that wear their hair up, they just are not headache prone, I guess. Like, and I never had headaches in my life, like, until I started wearing my hair up. Like, and then the mask just made it worse. But then I realized too, a lot of these women don't wear glasses, okay? So they just don't get it. Or maybe they just don't care, but they're also the kind of people that don't care about wearing a mask and they will walk at 110-degree heat with the mask on their face, sweating, and they don't think twice about it. With a jacket on, I'm like, I'm never going to wear a jacket again. Like, once you introduce the mask, it can be 50 degrees outside and I can run outside in my short sleeve shirt, no mask, like no jacket needed. Like, basically, the mask took away the need for the jackets. Like, I don't get cold anymore, even in air conditioned buildings. Like, I used to have to go for a warm off walk at lunch. I used to have to like warm up. I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's too cold. But I don't really need my lunch warm up walks as much anymore. As you can see, I like the heat. I'm not like, is anybody team heat? Everybody loves the like cool air. It's like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the cool air. I don't like it cold, but I never feel cold anymore. Like, I'm telling you. I did find though, oh my gosh, like I had ran out of paper masks and I'm like, I cannot do these cloth masks. Like, okay. So I was trying on Saturday really hard to wear the cloth mask, but it's just so sweaty and it doesn't wake up the sweat because unless you're like just completely stationary and just not moving, I don't know. Like, I've never felt hot in my life. It's something about wearing a mask just makes me feel on fire. Like, I feel like the teapot of fire. But I think it's because I do walk, and yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, like, so I found some paper masks. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I know. I'm not. That is just. Um, have you lived in the desert long, or like it does get hotter? Like, I don't know. Are you new to the desert, or did you just recently move there? Because come July, it's pretty hot. But I'm used to that sort of thing, really. Um, I don't want to join the military, and I think I'm kind of out of the age demographic for joining the military, honestly. Like, it's more for like the under 30 set. It's not on my radar. I never wanted to join the military. So I've heard that there's women with long hair in the military, but super long hair, I don't know how practical that is. Okay, because they have to put their hair in a certain bun. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like, there's a certain military hairstyle that women with longer hair have to wear. And I don't think that's healthy for your hair because I've seen, like, okay, if you Google military hair bun, like, they use a lot of hairspray and hair gel and things that I don't believe in using because I'm more into natural hair. Like, I don't use hairspray and hair gel. So, yeah, if you are going to be in the military, how should I put it this way? It's not really something I like personally. It wasn't ever on my radar. I had no desire to be in the military. I wasn't, um, that wasn't something I was considered doing. Like, I'm kind of like, even though I like to walk and I'm strong, I'm kind of a girly girl and I like to wear dresses. I'm not Rambo. Like, I've never wanted to own a gun. I'm just not somebody, I'm not a military kind of chick, okay? Like, is that okay to say? Yeah, I like being a girly girl. Like, I own it. Like, I own what I am. I'm happy being a girly girl, and that's who I am. And if people don't like it, that doesn't mean I can't do things. By the way, I can do anything I want to do wearing a skirt. I don't care what anybody thinks about that. But yeah, not living here just for the work. It does get kind of hot in the summer. Just FYI, come July, it can get up to 100. Well, let's see, Coachella, a little bit cooler than Blythe, but it can get up to like the 110s. Um, yeah, so it's the heat is coming. If you're not used to it, it will be a surprise for you. But I have noticed the California deserts and the Inland Valley, we have like a dry heat. We're not as humid, like, like the South and Texas and places like that. That's the humidity, I guess, is what kind of like can be the it's a drier heat, so it's more bearable, if that makes any sense. I'm just still smoothing my hair out because I'm not 100% happy with it yet. Find my happy spot with it because I just want it to feel smooth enough to start combing. I guess I'm just chatting a little too much. Anyway. I was listening to Queen last night. I'm like, I get on these kicks where I kind of reconnect with bands I like. And I'm like, I really do like some Queen songs. So like I'm not the biggest Queen fan on the planet, but um Freddie Mercury was pretty creative and like, I'll kind of get on a kick and I'll be like, there'll be certain songs I'll listen to here and there. That's kind of how I roll personally. Like even though I have my favorite bands, when it comes to song, I kind of do them in rotation. Yes, Needles is like Blythe. Needles is like Blythe, but I think Blythe might be a little bit more humid than Needles. The one thing about the California desert, though, in general, like we are a drier heat, like it's a not humid. So I do think, like, I do prefer that though. I don't think humidity is my thing. Like when I hear the stories about humidity, I'm like, that's okay. You can keep your parts of the country that have humidity. That doesn't sound very appealing to me. Like I don't know. But I'm glad people are finding work and like exploring other parts of the country. I'm just so like a homebody. Like I've never wanted to leave California. Like a lot of people keep saying like it would be better for me if I left California, but I don't know about that. Like I don't think I would be happy in other states. Like maybe Hawaii. Like okay, you want to pay for me to go to Hawaii? I'd be grape jelly jam happy. So that's the only other state that I think I want to live in is like Hawaii. Do I want to break free? Break free of what? I don't know what you're talking about, Mitchell. I like California. If you're talking about like California, no. I love California. Like for all the issues in California, at the end of the day, California is a beautiful place and I love the diversity here and yeah, it might be cheaper, but what do you get? That's my only thought about that is like, yeah, okay, I've lived in Kansas for a couple weeks with my family. Like when we were visiting, I didn't like the Midwest. I don't I just didn't like it personally. It wasn't my thing and it just didn't speak to me and I need my nature and I need to go outside and see the mountains and see the trees. Like I need that stuff. Like I need to go on my hikes. I need my beauty. I need my natural like landscapes. So it's a trade-off. I'm not saying it's good with how expensive California has become, but oh, I get it. It's a Queen song. Do you want to break free? Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about a Queen song. I'm like, I'm sorry. I guess I'm not, like, I know we are the champions and other ones, but do you want to break free? I get what you're saying. I am so sorry. I'm like, anyhow. What was I listening to the other day? Maybe I don't know the exact names of all the songs. Don't get mad at me. so bad. Like I like parts of Arizona, like the big saguaro cactuses. That's kind of cool. Um, I just don't think I would be happy anywhere else because like I haven't lived in those places and I just kind of understand life here in California and I just feel like I would be like a fish out of water in other states. I don't feel like I would fit in. That's kind of my thing. Like I don't know. I'm just used to a lot of the diversity we have out here and I don't know how I would feel like living in a more homogeneous. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just don't feel like I feel like I would really stand out. I don't think it would be for me. That's all. Like maybe the East Coast is different though, like because I know like some of the bigger cities, like you have more diversity. That part would be cool, but then I wouldn't like the cold weather, and I wouldn't like not being able to go walking out in nature and looking at the blue sky, like because the part of California I live in is very open spaces. Still, I would just be sad if I always was looking at a cityscape. That's not me either. So I guess it just depends on what you want. Like California is really expensive, but it doesn't have to be that way. I feel like maybe people need to ask, like, why does our state have so many taxes? Like, why is it so bureaucratic? Why don't we stop voting for politicians that keep asking us to have a tax hike? Why are we so anti, like, actually allowing people to build housing that wouldn't, like, who on earth is going to buy a $600,000 house? Like I always ask people that, and people they don't bat an eyelash. They're like, "Well, that's just how it is here." They're like, "I need to work more shifts," and like they're like looking all like kind of like mesmerized or like they're on like they're just like a worker bee, and I'm like, it's not normal. Or people like some people, I'm like, I don't know, they do something shady because I'm like, how do you afford to live here and not work? I'm like, hmm, hmm, hmm. Yeah, not everybody's on the up and up, but it's none of my grape jelly jam. I will just go on with my day and not think about it. Or maybe just they invest. Like I guess a lot of people invest their money and stuff. So I don't know. Well, more props to you if you're in the investment world and you can make that work for you. I'm a worker bee, I guess, so that's not my experience. See, like when I start braiding my hair, like some people they always say, I'm gonna braid my hair super fast, and they have like these like challenges to see how fast they can go. But I'm always all about like wanting my braid to be nice and smooth. Like I just don't like if I try to braid my hair fast, I don't like it because I feel like I start breaking hair, like personally, or because I have like a wavier texture in my hair, like my hair, it's not like I'm being against my waves. It's just like my hair will start curling up into each other. Just so I try to be more careful. And I don't really like try and fight it. Like I'm not trying to go super fast. Like the whole like it seems like a lot of people they have these contests saying like how fast they can comb and braid their hair, like it's contests. I'm like, okay, yay. I guess I won't be in your contest. Well, good for you though. Like I said though, good for everybody who has found what works for them. I'm so happy for you if you know what works for you. I think that's great. And we definitely need more of that in the world. If you know what works for you and you're happy, that's wonderful. It really is. But I just like to take my time. And some people are like, are you playing with your hair? I'm like, no, I'm literally just taking my time until I feel comfortable and ready to start braiding it. So everything I do is just like, I mean, it might take me a little bit longer because I'm on camera just chatting. Like if I was just watching a video or something and combing my hair, it probably goes a little bit faster. But what you see is what you get. Like I've had some people say, "Are you just purposely doing that to play with your hair?" I'm like, "No, I literally when I'm combing my hair, I'm trying to smooth out my hair. But another thing you need to keep in mind is I haven't thoroughly combed my hair since like Saturday. I just kind of finger detangled it a little bit. I didn't do a thorough combing, and then I left it in a braid till Monday. And yesterday I just unbraided it and rebraided it and kind of finger detangled. So I haven't done like a thorough combing in a couple days. So I'm just kind of like doing my comb. Like I would do an even more, like if I had more time right now, I would do a more thorough combing probably. Because I'm a big believer in like, yeah, you don't have to wash your hair as much if you just do a thorough, gentle combing. Maybe ideally every day if you have time. But I know sometimes I don't have time every day to comb my hair like as gently and as thoroughly as I like. But the thing I really like about it is once you get towards the end of that wash cycle I was telling you about, I didn't need to comb my hair as much at all, except to distribute like what oil was still in my hair. But in general, like I just really like combing my hair because I feel like I can smooth it out. See, I get these hairs that curl up because I have wavy hair. Like they curl all the way up into each other. So I have to kind of like literally straighten out my hair, kind of get it to behave when I start braiding it. So like when the people get upset, they're like, "Why aren't you braiding your hair yet?" And I'm like, "Well, because I'm trying to comb it out to where it will behave when I do braid it. Like I don't want to just rush into something and then not have it sit the way I want on my hair, you know? Like if you don't take the time to detangle your braids, like yeah, you will get tangles. Even if you leave your hair in a braid for a few days, you do have to take time. If you've gone a couple days without combing your hair, you need to take some time to work on like just kind of making sure your hair, because one thing I'm noticing with the braid is it's not going to be tangled, but like hairs want to curl up into each other because I already have wavy hair, but once you put it in a braid, it like I don't know why people were thinking this recently, but some people said they didn't want their hair in a braid because then it wasn't straight. And I'm like, what is the obsession with straight hair? Like, why does everybody and their brother want to have stick straight hair, but they like to wear their hair loose? I just realized that. That's why. And I don't like to wear my hair loose. And even if I did want to wear my hair loose, I want it to be curly because I love curly hair and wavy hair. Like I always loved my own hair texture. I never loved anybody else's, you know? Like well, that's not entirely true. I loved women with curlier hair than mine. It's so beautiful. I love curly hair. Like everything that people didn't like when they wanted to impose like this Eurocentric idea that all hair needs to be pin straight. I was like, no, and no. Check the box no on all those things. I love curly hair. Like it's beautiful in my opinion. Like I like my hair too that's wavy, but I'm just saying like when I see a woman with naturally curly hair, I'm like, you know what? It's beautiful. Like why would you straighten your curls? Like embrace them. Like because my dad had curly hair and I just think it's really beautiful. I'm like, and my hair is more on the wavy side though, I would say, not curly. But I'm just like, yeah, I love. But when I do curl my hair in the past, like I don't do that anymore because I don't wear my hair loose. This is when it was shorter. But even then, it was becoming a problem because it was mid back length, and because it's so thick, I curled my hair once, and I went to the dentist, and it went everywhere. And that was one time I remember. I just was like, I hate my hair going everywhere. I don't like that. What? I don't understand. Way to make. I don't get it. I didn't, just because I didn't know what you were talking about, I was just curious. I wasn't trying to like put you down. I just didn't get you were talking about the Queen song. I was the one that didn't know the name of the song, so you're fine. Like I know some Queen songs, but like I said, I don't know all of them, and I just listen to the songs like "We Are the Champions" and I used to know the names better, but I don't memorize the name of Queen albums. Like some people get mad at me because I have like a passing interest in a certain band, and I'll be like, I'll sing their song or watch their video, but like if it's not Duran or the Scorpions or the Moody Blues, like a band that I really love, I'm not going to be researching them. Like there were some bands I was just so aptly in love with those bands. So I would be researching the names of their songs and lyrics and really looking into those. But other ones, I'm just like, I like the songs and I'll remember listening to them and I'll kind of Google it and then listen to it, but I won't always I won't even call the song by the right name. Like I actually got called out once, like on a vlog or something, because I called the song a name that it wasn't, and somebody got really mad at me, and I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry to I'm just so it wasn't you. You're fine. Like you are fine. I didn't know what you meant though. Like I thought maybe see this is why you should never assume anything. I had to approve that comment though, because there's nothing wrong with that comment, but I guess YouTube censored it. Because look, I don't care if there's a swear word, but yeah, sometimes we need to have there would be these some people that would come to my videos and they would start even though okay, I don't think I'm not offended if somebody's just giving me a compliment, but if it's X-rated, they would use certain words. And I'm like, I kind of was warning people. I'm like, you know what? YouTube's filtering your comments out, but this one guy, he would just keep leaving these really X-rated comments. And I don't know, I wasn't offended or anything, but I was just like, man, dude, do I respond to your X-rated comments? And I'm like, no, I never respond to them. And I don't know, he just so it would filter that out. But this one was fine. There was nothing wrong with that comment, so I had to go approve it. There's a bird outside. It's making this woo 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 sound. I used to know the name of that bird. I'd have to Google it again. I think it might be the warbler bird. This is making that wobbler sound. It's like woo woo. We have a lot of birds. I actually still need to go pull all the weeds out of my little patio area because okay, I used to have planters, and I got rid of them because I'm like I keep saying I'm gonna move and I haven't moved yet within where I live, not far away, but just to a different apartment complex. And I stopped wanting to grow anything out there a couple years ago because there's just no sunlight and it was just always kind of an issue and I didn't always have time to tend to it. And unless you have optimal sunlight, there's just a lot of things you can't grow in the shade. And one time I had tomato plants that were doing well, and then the surfer dudes killed my tomatoes because they went, I don't know, they went to the beach and they came back and they put their wetsuits over the balcony and all the salt water was leaking into my plants. And I'm like, oh my gosh. That's the thing about when you live in an apartment and if you have plants and you're on the lower floor, you never know what somebody might the other day. Okay. I heard this gushing water and I looked out. It was my day off. And they were leaking, they were draining. I don't even know if this is how they're supposed to do it. Maybe this is the way they do it. They were draining the water heater, okay, into my patio. Hi, how you doing? I want my hair to keep growing. I hope so. We'll see. That's kind of the goal right now. I want to see I'm like you guys, I want to have long hair. I might do a trim just because I do want the ends healthier. But as my hair gets longer, it's I actually feel like I want to trim it less. And Saxon was kind of right about that. It's like you kind of want to see how long your hair will get. And yeah, I used to want like really super blunt ends, but I don't know. Like I might trim my hair a little bit soon, but it's been like a good 5 months. And even before that, I just trimmed an inch off. Before that, I trimmed off two. Last year, I did a lot of trims, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes there's times when you do need to trim your hair, but lately I've just been kind of like okay with it, and I haven't wanted to trim, but I do want to trim. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Like I like the way a trim looks, and also one added benefit is like okay, the longer your hair gets, you do have to do some search into strand split ends. And I'm not always religious about that. And it's not like I have an abundant amount of split ends or anything, but sometimes once you've trimmed a little bit off the ends of your hair, it just makes it easier to comb. It just does. But I don't believe like what the hairstylists say, like, oh, wherever there's resistance with the comb, that's where you have hair damage. Well, because what about people with curly hair? I just thought that was so funny that a hairstylist said that on a video where this lady was getting a haircut because I was like, you're gonna have some resistance if you have wavy or curly hair. Like a comb's just not gonna glide through your hair the same way. Like, really? I just always find those kind of commentary not skeptical, humorous, amusing. I think you were right. My hair's already kind of at calf length. You were right though. Um, like even before, like I would say, like I was starting to realize that, like when I did a hair washing video, because look, my hair's wavy, right? It's super wavy. So when I did a hair washing video, like I don't want to straight iron or flat iron my hair, but somebody made a comment. They were like, "Oh, they could see," which was kind of cool about that video actually, that my hair was already at calf length because honestly, like I don't straighten out my hair, so it kind of was already there. It's just hard to tell. And even now, with it being wavy, it's at calf length, like at the upper calves. Okay. So if you look at one of my Instagram posts that I posted recently, you can definitely see that my hair is calf length. Like some people are like, oh, it's knee length, but it's beyond knee length now. It really is. Like it's been beyond knee length for a while. Like I would say solidly. Solidly. But yeah, it's interesting, yeah. Like with the waviness to my hair, it kind of like once. But you were definitely right, George. I agree. You were definitely right. Um, I think trimming less probably is good when you have a hair, like when you have a length goal. Like I understand, like a lot of people they just want. I guess like it's really popular now, like to have long hair, like what's considered really super long hair, like tailbone length hair, I guess, or classic length, maybe thigh length, and then a lot of people are like, oh no no no, I'm going back to tailbone length, and like I guess that's a popular thing. A lot of people want to go back to that length, but I don't. Like I don't plan on doing that in my life. Like that's not something I want to do. Like I don't know because when I started growing my hair long, I didn't think like oh I wanted like I didn't start feeling like oh I don't want it to be. I don't know. I didn't have those feelings. Like my feelings were the opposite. Like my feelings were definitely like I trimmed my hair a lot more than once last year. I trimmed my hair like 4 or 5 times, a lot. I probably trimmed like last year. The Saxon told me she was right. She has super long hair. She's like, you trim your hair a lot. Like you really don't need to. I trimmed my hair in February, in May, in August, and November. So yeah, I did a lot of trims last year. And when I trim, like I always do like 2 inches off. 3 inches off. So it's actually quite a bit. Like it doesn't seem like a bit at the time, but it's a lot. Like when you think about it. Like I don't do like a big chop like some people with long hair, they do like the big choppy chop like once a year. I don't do it that much, but I still did enough. Like I did a lot. It wasn't a little amount. It was enough, I would say. But yeah, I'm working on not trimming for a while. See how long I can go. I mean, I kind of want to trim my hair, but I kind of don't. It's hard to say. Like, I don't want to trim my hair, but I kind of do. Like, the only reason I want to trim my hair though right now is it's not like even for this obsession with the blunt ends like I used to want. It's just because I kind of like how it feels when I trim it. Because it's just not gonna be like the same. Like people expectations versus reality. Like some people think their hair is gonna be really blunt after a certain length, but it can be, but it doesn't have to be. And I don't want my hair like it's hard to put it. Like I don't want my hair to be damaged or wispy either, but I don't want it to be super blunt. Like I want it to be healthy. I don't know. Just gonna some hairs falling off it. So I walk like a fine line between like what I want. Like I don't like I feel like there's it's hard to explain, like, but I do want to wait on trimming my hair. I do. But if I ever started to feel like my hair looked wispy or something on the ends, like I'm not saying that's not beautiful, like because I'm sure it's really beautiful, but I probably like at that point, like if I had a lot of breakage, I probably would trim my hair like more if that were the case. Like I just between like I used to really want super blunt ends, but then when I look back at my videos, I'm like, wait, you're the wavy hair girl. You have like this East Mediterranean thing going on with your hair. It's never gonna look the same as like somebody with pin straight hair when they even if I did have blunt hair, it just never looked the same. Like the way it fell was differently, you know? And I don't want to straight iron my hair just to see what it would look like straight. I kind of like the mystery. Like, you talk to people with super long hair that's kind of are in the know, like that friend Saxon. She was right about a lot of stuff. Like, I'm like, she's like, it's a mystery. Like, stop fighting it. So I totally agree with you, George, and I agree with my friend Saxon, who comments on here a lot. That yeah, trimming less is probably better, and it plays into this whole thing that less is more, right? Trim your hair less, wash your hair less, and wash your face less. Like I'm not saying you can't wash your face. I wash my face with water, but stop like using so many cleansers on your face. And if you're gonna put something on your face, just put some BB cream on your face. Like be a little bit more conservative in the products you use. Like less is more. You don't need to like I have totally different ideas about this. So like I don't know. I would rather wear a pretty dress than contour my face with makeup. Like I express my femininity in a different way because I don't like makeup that much. Like, look, I'm not anti BB cream. It's just like I like lighter things on my face. Oh, thanks. See, I had the other one on Saturday. It's kind of like the style of dress, and I'm just like, I love wearing dresses. Like, if, like, to me, like feeling feminine, like, I have a different take on it. Like, a lot of women feel they need the makeup or they need I don't know, like fake lashes, but I don't do any of that. And I think it's okay to say I don't do any of that. Like I like my take on it. Anyway, I'm just sharing my view and everybody have a nice day and thanks for watching.